Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Chair Company Files. I'm Carlos.
And I'm Mike, everybody.
Hey, I'm excited to talk about this episode. It's my favorite episode so far.
This episode was crazy. It went in so many different directions and new directions. It really made this show have so many more possibilities in terms of the narrative arc. It was insane.
Yeah, I just feel like it put all the pieces together. Like lots of times we talk about different shows and show episode 3 or 4 is when it hits. You know, like the writers get figured it out, like the actors are kind of in their groove. And I feel like that's so true in this show because it's like, this is it. Like this has comedy. This has a little horror element. It doesn't have as much David Lynch as last episode, but it just has all the pieces to be like, I'm interested. I'm getting backstory. We did flashbacks this episode.
So much backstory.
Yeah.
It started with a flashback and it kept going back. And those flashbacks, which we'll be talking a lot about on this episode, really give us such deep insight into the Ron character. It really kind of opened him up because so much of his anger and his manic behavior, and then the way that the wife and the daughter interact with him and almost treat him with kid gloves, it kind of all came into light. It came into full view. Why?
Yeah. And I think that, I think you wrote this down here in the notes, but like it kind of gives that credence to, is this in his head? Which I said before could be a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I just thought, okay, it seems like things are happening in the real world. And we still think that things are happening in the real world, but man, he could be imagining this. He could be crazy.
It could be a Fight Club situation. I want to mention this at the top of the show. Ryan on our Facebook page, the Facebook page is just the Chair Company Files on Facebook. If you're on there, check it out. But Ryan mentioned this whole scene at the end, which we can kind of jump to the end before the beginning. But his daughter looking at him in the garage when he was doing the Jeep tours. Oh, the Jeep tours. And he mentioned that they made a point to zoom in on her face. And they're wondering, like, her eyes were dilated. Did you see that on the Facebook page?
I did. I didn't know what to make of it. I feel like, who knows?
It's too much.
Well, I want to step back and just talk about, okay, we're going to go to that. And like, there's so much happening with the daughter dynamic and Barb and how they view him.
Yeah.
But everything was set up with that opening scene with him. They're at this holiday party. They leave early. They're having a great wife-husband moment and they're laughing. And then she just tells him that she thinks it's time that she goes out on her own. She has an idea for a business.
Yeah.
And it seemed like a pretty good idea, like a portable, stylish milk breast contraption, whatever you call it.
Pump.
I'm a guy.
Yeah, breast pump. Yeah.
Yes. Apologize to all people out there. And it seemed like a good idea. He seems supportive, but as is always with the case with Ron, it always comes back to him. He's super self-centered. And so he has to then tell Barb about his idea.
Yeah. He's like, let's both do it. Let's both quit our jobs and do our dreams. And she's like, I guess, but it was supposed to be just about her moment, you know?
Yeah. But Barb being so supportive, and I really like her. I like this character. I like the actress. She's so supportive of him. She gets on board. And I just loved how he did his little happy dance at the end of that scene.
He did the Tim dance.
It was a super sweet scene. It kind of set up the whole thing where there's a theme that really kind of came out in this, in that I don't want to say he's competing with her, but his career is so central to his identity that the fact that he has to come up with an idea for his own business at the time she's having her special moment really kind of lays bare like his insecurities, how he really kind of puts himself first in terms of like his career. And he's a good guy. Like, don't get me wrong, but he has so many insecurities around his career. And then the breakdown and inability to achieve that dream, as we find out throughout this episode, like I think is core to what's going on with him now.
And similar to the character in Friendship, which again, we're going to keep going back to, because there is some parallel kind of vibes here, is that like, is he a good guy though? You know what I mean? Like, because some of the stuff we found out in this episode too, in the flashback, we're like flash forwarding and flashbacking already in this podcast, but makes it sound like he's not that good of a guy. Like, again, he does these things. You're like, why would you do that? And then they show him being really nice. To finish that scene, by the way, the 5 years ago scene, his little dance or whatever. Oh my goodness, he could just do that forever, and I would laugh. But that's like all, yeah, the totally Tim Robinson like universe stuff.
So
because everybody else
there's
would
lots
like
of things.
think it's weird, but
Yeah, yeah. There's lots of things sprinkled in between, but let's kind of go through the progression of the flashbacks. So the next time they flash back, it's a year after the first flashback. So the first flashback was 6 years, so the next one's 5, and it shows that he's clearly disappointed or he's frustrated. He walks into the house to tell Barb about how he took an investor on a Jeep tour, and he, of course, being Ron Trosper, just goes insane and realizes the guy's not really paying attention. So he decides to just floor it in his Jeep. And I'm getting nervous just watching how fast they're going in the woods. Like, what are you doing, Ron? And then like he sees a log, hits the log. The dude rams his head up against the windshield or the dashboard. And Barb just, at this point, Barb just goes, oh, fuck.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, though. This is why it is good to just jump to this, because that's this kind of personality that he has. Like, it's obviously a wrong thing to do to go faster. So that's already weird. It's you don't take chances like trying to jump a cliff, like a rock, or what is it? A log.
Stump, a log, yeah.
You know, and I like how he delivered that line. He's like, she's like, well, then what happened? He's like, I didn't make it. We didn't make it over. He hit his head. And he had a concussion, obviously, and he just let him go to sleep. These are all things that a person wouldn't do. Shouldn't do.
He's responded to Barb goes, well, how did he react? He's like, he couldn't get him to smile or laugh. The fact that he just couldn't get this guy to smile caused him to floor the Jeep through the woods was crazy. And so,
it's weird.
And then he just let the guy go back to his hotel without taking him to the hospital. Like, yeah. So to your point, like maybe he isn't a great guy. I don't know if that's a character defect. There's not necessarily like malice in his mind or his heart, but he just makes bad judgments all the time. Just like, and I think it's probably because he can't get past himself. He can't get past his own inability and his own like striving for success and how he keeps failing. Like that's like the only thing he really fixates on.
You know what it is? I just thought of this. It's like the characters from I Think You Should Leave, but we get to watch them for a long time, right? Because like, what do we say about those characters? Is they mess up, they don't want to admit they messed up, and then they just double down on it, right? Well, that's his life. It's like almost like we're getting a person like that.
And they're doing it in a way that, like, one of the worries we talked about, I think, in the first episode, maybe even when we talked about the trailer, was, would it be hard for them to string together all these, I think should leave essentially skit and set pieces and really create a cohesive and well-crafted narrative arc with backstory and everything? I would say so far mission accomplished, because to your point, a lot of this is you see essentially Tim's characters and the crazy characters in the office, all reminiscent of all part of the Robinson verse, if you will, that I Think You Should Leave world. Yeah. But the fact they're creating all this great backstory tells me that him and Zach, the co-producers and co-writers, really thought this through.
Yeah, they did. They really did. I mean, this is, again, this one made me feel like, okay, we're on capable hands of how this is going to go. Although it also made me think, again, high level, that I think I said this a long time ago, but that Fight Club thing, I don't know. It just feels to me like this all could still be not real. It makes sense it would be. So let's just like jump back into a couple other scenes and kind of, do we do all the flashbacks, or do you want to finish the flashbacks?
Well, the final flashback is really the ending scene of the show. And we'll talk about the now, then we could talk about some other things. Because I think I think the overarching and most important takeaway from this entire episode is we find out that Ron may be losing it or may have already lost it, and his family knows this. And we realize this when we see Ron sitting there on the final flashback. He's talking to the dog. By the way, I don't know, is there a dog in the current life? I feel like the dog was just in the flashback. I may be completely missing that.
The dog was in the ending flashback.
Yeah, but I don't know if like they still have the dogs. What I'm wondering.
Oh, I don't know.
That's neither here nor there. That's just me wondering as a dog person. Did the dog die? But anyway, so he's petting the dog and he's telling the dog, oh, I got to figure this out. What the hell? Do I buy more land? Do I get more Jeeps? And then they pan over to the door cracked, and the daughter's just listening to the crazy ramblings of her father, and your heart kind of breaks for him. Yeah. For her. And then Barb comes up behind And she says, by the way, she says exactly what the daughter says, Natalie says to Tim in the current, when Tim, by the way, this is a big deal. When Tim tells Natalie about the conspiracy theory, which is the first time he's told any of his family. And we were talking about this on the last episode. He needs to come clean with someone. He has all these people in his life who love him. Come clean on this crazy ass conspiracy. And he does with Natalie. And what does she say to him? She goes, I got you. I love you. I got your back.
Yeah.
And then that is exactly what Barb tells her in the flashback scene when they're talking about looking at their dad, who's clearly crazy or losing it. And I think Barb says, don't worry, he'll get over this. We'll get him back. And then she says that thing. And so all that to say, like, we realize this is an important moment that the family knows he's kind of crazy, and they're kind of like treating him with kid gloves.
Yeah, they're the support system. I think, by the way, Natalie was the perfect person to tell, right? I mean, even though his wife is super supportive, everybody's supportive, but yeah, I just feel like Natalie's like the best. Like, she's so awesome. She's always like totally chill with everything. Although I don't know if they're making the right choice with their relationship, but that's another thing. But she's just chill, So I think I understand why he went to her. And then that little mantra that they do both times, and at the very end here in the flashback, is this kind of support system. It's like, it's telling someone that you're there for them. And it's cool. Back to the Facebook page, they think that her look at him might be that she realizes that he knows too much, and she actually does know about the drug stuff. Because real quick, to go down that road for a minute that Ryan said on the Facebook page, when he was telling her about he was telling her about the drug idea, this whole drug scandal idea, which, by the way, was kind of brilliant when I was listening to it, going like, oh my goodness, this could really work. So he convinced me, but she had two looks. Okay. The look could be two things. The one look could be like the support system, like, okay, he's losing it, and I'm just saying yes to him. Or it could be that she knows about it. That's the crazy idea.
Okay, so now I believe your theory that he's losing it.
Okay.
I still don't know if this is always in his head. I still feel like something's happening in the real world. I don't buy the second one that she's in on it.
Okay.
But I'm not going to rule it out completely because I've been proven wrong. I'm not
Right.
So super interesting. I think there's other things we have to talk about. The other big thing in this episode was what's going on with all these weird alternative identities that people are coming up with him. Like the modeling agency stuff is crazy. And then the guy coming to the door with the eBay, like
I love that
he
scene.
had won that. He thought that he had bought off Ron on eBay some Beatles memorabilia. He had like a box to hold it in, and Ron's like, what are you talking about? By the way, the son walks by. He's like, oh, okay, weird. And
Dude,
then
the son is milquetoast. Sorry, he's so not.
Yeah. So there's the eBay story. There's the fact that twice he gets calls from modeling agencies. One is like a face modeling agency and says his face is just too extreme. And then on the second one, he just loses out to
Bahld Harmon.
What's his name? Bahld Harmon, which is crazy.
It's the name of the episode. Bahld Harmon Birthplace is the name of the episode.
And then there's one final piece of evidence that someone is like using him or creating havoc for him by using his name and his identity, in that someone emailed Jeff, the boss, telling him that they wanted more money. And then I don't know why Ron doesn't dispute it. He just kind of goes with it.
I know exactly why he didn't dispute it. Don't you know?
Tell me.
Oh, he's hiding everything. So he has only told Natalie he's hiding every single bit in kind of a good way from everybody. So that guy can't know anything about anything. So the minute he does that, he unravels this whole thing to people. Then they go like, Jeff tells somebody else like, oh, did you hear someone's impersonating him? Why are they doing that? And then it goes down this huge rabbit hole. So that's why. Real quick, I have a question for you that's out of place. But the Doug Ashley scene, I just rewatched it and I still don't get it. Like, they're in a meeting and they say somebody didn't show up for work. And then he flashbacks to when he was doing the Doug Ashley signature. Do you know what that was?
Douglas is the Jim Downey character, right?
Okay, right.
And Douglas is the guy who, had like
he's the Bubbles.
the Mr. Bubbles. He had the disappointment party or whatever.
The regret party. Yeah.
The regret party. Turns out he hasn't shown up for work for 2 days. And then I think at that point, Ron in his head's thinking, okay, maybe Doug is out there like sending out scams with my name. And when you saw that, the coworker found Doug in his apartment under his refrigerator, Ron almost had this big just weight lifted off his shoulders, and that he doesn't now think, I think it's Doug conspiring against something that what Doug really was missing and almost died.
So weird. And such a weird side story. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense to me now. I just didn't put Douglas Ashley and Doug together. So I got it.
But they do such a good job of these. Every scene has a moment or two in it that's just a surprise, adds to the plot point, adds to the story. It adds to the weirdness of the whole enterprise. It just so many of these things. And I don't know. It seems like some of them are throwaway. Like the guy coming into Ron's office and just fretting about what Jeff's surprise is. Is it going to be?
Yeah, he's like, I'm really worried about it. I love that he's worried about it. Yeah, and it was just like treats. It was like, well, everybody beignets. Beignets. All the corporate offices, by the way, I worked for many of them. Both of us have, and they always do the little food truck as like your surprise. They're like, you got donuts in the alleyway. There's donuts. Real quick, I want to mention, this is also another thing. I'm scrubbing through the episode while we talk. And when he has to do the HR stuff, I can't believe that's not left yet. But they keep pinging him thinking that, something's going on between him and that one employee. And they bring up the old idea of like a picture of him with his arm around her. And later on, he looks up and he's like, it was curtain call. We were doing a play. But, he tells a story about, I didn't hang out with her because she was kind of a loser. And her mom worked under the school with the pipes.
Yeah, he says it would have been social suicide, which
I laughed so hard at that.
It also makes you think, okay, he was kind of maybe a jerk in high school, but yeah, this Dr. Stevens guy who's supposed to watch Ron, and because of the whole like up the skirt view thing.
And he said he was excited about it, by the way. He's like, I'm real excited about this project.
So other crazy scenes, I missed another one of like maybe another mistaken identity or another like someone setting him up for something. When he comes home and there's this crazy cop scene. By the way, this is like the scene where you just think, okay, he's super unraveling. Like he's like typing fuck. Like he's, like he's, what's his name in, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or something?
Yeah.
The Shining. Like, like he's The Shining or something. You just had total views or thoughts of The Shining. He's doing that. And then he's driving home. He's unraveling. And then he sees this scene where there's police cars. Everyone's worst nightmare. Like you go home, you see these cop cars flashing in front of your cop lights flashing in front of your house. Understandably, he's freaking out. And they go, are you Ron Trosper? And you think it's going to be something crazy. And someone called and donated his big green grill.
Yeah.
Another weird thing.
It is a weird thing. By the way, those pieces of the puzzle, we do have to figure those out because they're either proof that something's going on, because all those impersonations will be done by one person, you would think, who's trying to get at him. Because remember at some point there's the, maybe this is near the end, but he gets on the online form, and at the very bottom of the online form for, was it Tekka? Like customer survey in an email, it says, are we done, Ron? Are we done with this now? Which, to my earlier point, could totally be in his head, right? That's a perfect in your head moment. Like you're telling yourself, are we done with this bullshit now?
Yeah.
If not, it's all those little pieces and the acting thing and all that stuff in the face model. That's like somebody doing that.
So you took that, which could be just a standard pre-populated form with a little bit of customization, as something like it's someone threatening him. Hey, you had enough? Have you had enough of this little game you're playing? I could see how in his crazy mind he would construe it that way. Yeah, but also like you could see how like, oh, that's just a normal automated response form.
No, that's no. It's either straight up in his head or it's a straight up threat. It's got to be one of those two. And I feel like this show does a really good job of we don't know which one it is. And by the way, we didn't even talk about the biggest thing at the last episode that we talked about, the ending, which was like this guy in a weird mask doing a little thing, which, you know, our little YouTube short of me talking about it, his head moving back and forth. It's just like a throwaway thing in this episode. He just like deletes that footage and it's gone.
And we thought that because all the different horror cliffhangers in the previous episodes, you kind of quickly resolve and they seem like nothing burgers, like they're almost kind of funny. They just never really did. Mike is out there looking at the scene with them after the flashback, and then Mike promises to just sleep outside. But yeah, nothing really happens after that. We don't know if that was his kid or if that was like someone from Tekka. We don't know what it was.
Yeah. And
by the
also,
way, can I just say that you're the one who always brings up that I think you should leave Easter eggs. What about the big green egg as an Easter egg? Like that is, remember he's playing that video game with the egg with the pubes on it?
I guess so. I don't know. That one might be a stretch. I know. I didn't mention any this episode. There was some in there. Obviously, Ken Tucker is still going to be a character, and he's been in, I think, Schleif sketches. But yeah, I think this one didn't have as much, really. I think it had its own identity, and maybe that's why I liked it more. I don't know.
Yeah, this one wasn't as zany. There's a lot of weird moments, but it wasn't as like almost pure comedy as the other ones. Like it seemed like there was less funniness to it, but more like family touching moments and just like a drama arc to it. And part of it was just finding out about Ron legitimately maybe being crazy.
Yeah.
And stuff. By the way, we have to talk about like that final scene where he gets the call and it's Stephen Droyko who says that he has Ken Tucker.
Oh, that's right.
Stephen Droyko, remember, he's the guy that went to work for Tekka and he had to work for 4 days or 4 months on the nude or whatever.
4 days.
He's the guy that they broke into the house, had the lady on the pile of stuff who wanted popcorn. Anyway, he calls Ron, says he has Ken Tucker. Ron leaves the party where he's at with with Barb, who's trying to court that new investor. And he hops in the car with Mike, and then they kind of elevate to like a driving through the city scene. And then we see Natalie tracking him on a Life 360 app or something. Yeah. That all precedes the flashback to her watching him and her concern about it. But I just thought that was super interesting that maybe they're all tracking him. Maybe they're all keeping on top of him because maybe he's had a breakdown.
Yeah. No, I mean, by the way, she put that on his phone when she looked at it. I think that's what she did. Although I don't know if she had enough time to do that. No, she did.
Maybe she might have been able to turn on let people follow me or something. Because it looked like it's like the standard like Apple let people know my location.
Right.
Like because she held looking at that.
Yeah, like why would she say, "Can I see that?" You know what I mean? Because and then she took her phone. She took his phone. So
that's
maybe
a good
she did
point.
that.
I didn't put that two and two together. I think you're probably right. That very plausibly could have been when she turns on let people find my location.
Yeah.
Because why else would she want to see the phone? I thought, why does she want to see the phone? I didn't really know until what you just said.
That's what I think it is. And because it felt weird to me when she asked, because I was like, and then she didn't do anything. She just looked at the screen. So, okay. So she definitely is, again, just like this whole show, one of two things. She totally knows something, which would prove some of the Facebook comment, or she just is this thing, which is probably the saddest truth, which is that he's had issues and she's trying to be, there for him. I kind of hope it isn't now. I kind of want it to be this zany drug cartel idea. But either way, I'm having fun.
I feel like these things are mutually exclusive. I feel like he clearly probably had a breakdown centering around his failure of his own career, with some little bit of insecurity and competitiveness with Barb. But at the same time, I feel like that doesn't necessarily rule out the fact that there could be some weird thing happening with the chair company. By the way, we didn't hear anything about the Big Red Ball Corp, although he did put it in the little spreadsheet. Like I thought that's kind of funny. He's doing like a Google spreadsheet.
Oh yeah,
trying to map everything out.
Yeah,
but I love this episode. I think some of the key themes here are, like I said, like And I feel like so many of the things that we're seeing in this episode are touching on stuff that's in the zeitgeist right now. Like he's doing such a good job of, as we go through the episodes, touching on key themes. We talked about last episode about how there's no authenticity. Corporate authenticity is a joke. We don't know what's real anymore with AI and just like online identities. And we're seeing that even more so with all the fake identity stuff around him. And then I think that the new theme that I'm seeing really rear its head is just the male identity crisis in America. Like men just generally are not meeting expectations. And then there's just like a big kind of crisis in terms of their depression, their inability to connect with other people. And I just feel like that's a theme that we're starting to see emerge.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the identity stuff is there, because I mean, you couldn't get more on the nose for our current time of like, that's not me. I didn't do that. That was somebody else. Yeah. And so that happened all the time. And a funny way to do it too, with what's the name again? Bahld Harmon.
Bahld Harmon.
Which at some point they show a picture of him, and he must have been in a sketch. I bet she's in one of the sketches. And he goes, I lost out to this guy.
On the phone they said, you lost out to Bahld Harmon. Who's Bahld Harmon? He's a well-regarded plump size model. He said, like, I think plump size model.
That's awesome. Yeah. And then, so the identity stuff, and I mean, I'm a little on the fence of the male delusion, shame stuff that's written down here on the notes, but like,
his entire driving crisis is around his inability to achieve his dreams. I feel like, but I feel like he's super competitive with Barb.
Let me throw this as an option of what they might be writing around, which is simpler than that. Actually, I think they peppered in themes about our world. But as a person who writes comedy stuff, I think this is all just the character. So this is my like, what's it? Point in the sand? No, flag in the sand. Nope. Come on, help me out. What do you do when you put something down? You put a flag in the sand?
Not helping you.
That you do.
I'm gonna let you struggle on this.
You know the answer. Tell me. You put your foot down, but you put your. Anyways,
you plant your flag.
Is that it? So I'm planting my flag in this and saying that I think it's the character. I think they just want to explore this Ron character who is potentially, the answer is that it's a Fight Club situation. He's delusional. But I don't know. Like a lot of I Think You Should Leave is the same way. It's like these are these different weird characters that are just fun to write. And so I don't know if it's like as big as we're throwing it out there to be. That's just me.
I think there's themes that are exploring. I mean, I was listening to Adam McKay interview. He's on Michael Lewis's podcast, and who, by the way, is an executive producer on this. And he said that he would always make an agreement with Will Ferrell when they do these shows like Anchorman and all these other ones, that they wouldn't ever say it. They would never tell the audience, but every time they did a show like Anchorman, there was always like a serious theme they were trying to address. Like, and the theme in Anchorman was, I think, like the degradation and kind of decline of local news. Like that was a big theme they were tackling, but they would never say that in a kind of funny, silly comedy about that. And so I feel like maybe this is the same thing, is they're probably tackling these bigger issues, but they're never going to say it.
Yeah.
You're just going to see it in the story arc. And I think that is clearly a driving force in like what Ron's behavior is like his just almost complete failure in his ability to achieve his dreams. The fact that they were setting it up, and, you know, being a parent is really important to him, but how they're setting up, and how in that opening scene of this episode, how we need to show the kids it's okay to chase your dreams. Like they kept talking about that throughout the episode.
Yeah.
And it's clear that them chasing, he clearly failed. And then he took such umbrage when Natalie said, I love how, Dad, you're there for Mom, taking a back seat to Mom and letting her achieve his dream. He was so upset about her saying that. Like, yeah, I'm not taking a back seat to anyone. And that's when he revealed the conspiracy theory. That was like
because he had to. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He wanted to show her that he's doing something important. And something important is his unveiling this conspiracy, which I think is giving him importance too. Like it's fulfilling a part of his life, in that it's this thing that's giving him importance and meaning.
So to add on to what you're talking about with the themes, with like kind of just overall themes, it's a yes and situation, because a lot of that stuff is, of course, they're tackling that stuff about humans and human condition, but also it's about like his characters, and I think he should leave because they're like they don't want to admit they're wrong. So I'm saying that is a kind of continuation theme, which is he's got to double down and be like, no, I'm actually like figuring out this drug conspiracy. It's that same character flaw or whatever, a character thing, trait. Yeah. And so that's what it is. But it's just great. This was a great episode.
And just part of comedy is what Tim is really good at, and just generally great comedy like this is about, is identifying types of people and then doing such a good job of like portraying them.
Yeah.
And we're seeing the types like the annoying office coworker and the weird dude who's working the customer service job at the shirt store. Like these are just such funny characters that they just are able to capture that little lightning in a bottle. So fun to watch.
By the way, Natalie's girlfriend is not cool. Oh, and she's on because I'm on TikTok and I was scrolling TikTok, and the actress who plays her, I forgot her name right now, but she was watching. She made a TikTok of her watching The Chair Company and seeing herself, and then being like, "Wait, is that me?" So she did a funny viral video. But so she might be a good actress, or whatever. But like, yeah, the character isn't like cool, and like she shouldn't be marrying her because Natalie seems like super sweet and normal and cool and chill and ultimately chill. But I think there was that funny scene that we didn't talk about where she was photographing the Wendy's hamburger. And so then when they went there, which we missed that whole thing with, like, they had to leave the house after that whole incident.
They're sleeping in the hamburger room.
The hamburger room.
which
she's like, it
so
smells.
Funny.
And he goes, it smells like hamburger, but that's not that bad.
Which is okay.
Which is
good.
He kind of liked the hamburger smell.
Yeah, that was they had to flee the house, and Mike says, I can help you. I know a guy. Of course, Mike always knows a guy.
Yeah.
And the funny, weird, creepy dude comes down the stairs and talks about how they found a bug in Barb's underwear. Just every scene's got a moment like that.
Yeah, it's good. So I'm excited for the next one. I think they might give us a little bit of what's going on. I think next episode is it, where they go like, okay, it's this direction. Now let's, because how many episodes is this? Do we know?
I think it's 8 or 10.
Yeah.
But I feel like they may not let us know. I feel like,
you don't think so?
Why would you let us know? If like
just
you're
a smidge.
talking about like if it's a Fight Club type of scenario, like the magic was you didn't know until like the very end.
I think they'll give us a good smidge is all I'm saying. A good more smidge than we've had. And we go, oh, okay, I think it might be this. So then at least I would like that, because then we could just be like, I don't know what's going on. Let's get to it. Hey, everybody, follow us on YouTube for the shorts and for the video version of this podcast. Listen to the podcast and review it. Leave a comment, blah, blah, blah. Facebook page, The Chair Company Files. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
See you later. Bye.